This is the 10-Minute Contrarian Podcast. This is VP. We're a solutions-based podcast diving into the world of contrarian investing and alternative finance. You can find us hosted on the No Nonsense Forex YouTube channel, NoNonsenseForex.com, and podcast players everywhere. Episode 134 is brought to us by Bybit. It happens every time. When the market drops, investors lose money, traders kill it. Now, I'm an investor, but I'm also a trader. It just makes sense. Take advantage. And if you're outside of the United States and Canada, use Bybit. Bybit has started from a mid-sized brokerage when I first started promoting them into a very large brokerage because they do things right. And for my traders, they even let you trade directly off of MT4 if you want to. Go down below to the show notes. Click the link that takes you to the Bybit blog. It'll give you all the current information you need. And at the very bottom, click my affiliate link and get started. Get your sign-on bonus and enjoy the ride because with Bybit, membership has its rewards. It is a 10-Minute Contrarian Podcast, and welcome to week 2 of 2024. We are still in our predictions episodes, and today we are going over precious metals and the United States dollar. Not looking forward to any of these predictions, really, because as I said in the first predictions episode, I am just not super convicted in any of these. There's probably one or two things to which I do have more conviction for the year 2024, but most things I'm probably like 52-48 tops. And I can certainly see the case for both sides. And this is going to be no different. Remember that. But I said I was going to do this, so here we go. Let's actually go ahead and start with the United States dollar. Now, if you remember in the episode last week, I said that I think the economy is going to actually have a bullish year. Not the economy, I'm sorry. Two different things. The S&P 500 is going to go up. The economy is still going to be trash, but number is still going to go up because both things can be true. They have been true for a while now. When it comes to the United States dollar going up or down, I never did this in the past, but I probably should have. I need to ask the question, up or down against what exactly? Is the United States dollar going to continue to lose purchasing power like it does pretty much every other year? Yeah, almost certainly. This is why we own stocks and gold and Bitcoin. Because while most people just sit there and take it when it comes to their fiat currency, we realize that it doesn't have to be that way. Now, I will say, too, it's really easy to drink the Kool-Aid and get on this anti-fiat bandwagon. You need to remember, though, the reason why it has done so poorly for so long is because overall the stock market keeps going up. Now, are there other reasons? Yes, of course. But money has to go somewhere. And when the stock market is good, that's where money wants to go. We have been risk on for most of our lives. And when you're risk on, the dollar typically loses value. And fiat currencies generally do for the most part too, but Forex 101, risk on typically means down dollar. And I said it a week ago, contrarians, I think we're going to be risk on for 2024, so it would only make sense to say that the dollar from January 4th, 2024 to December 31st, 2024 should be lower against things like gold, which I think is the perfect blank canvas for all of this, the perfect measuring stick. But I also think it's going to go down against other currencies. So I think the DXY is going to be down as well. And this is crazy for me to say because the euro makes up most of the DXY, and I could not be more bearish on the euro long term. I don't know why it has gone up in the past year or so. I don't know who is putting their money in the euro dollar when given a choice of putting it in so many other places. But here we are. And so I just want you to know, too, that if we do have a really bad prolonged recession, the United States dollar is going to be an amazing place to be. I do see someday a dollar milkshake scenario where gold and Bitcoin and the dollar all go up at the same time. But I do not see this scenario happening in 2024. And this is even tougher to say, too, because if you look at your charts, kind of looks like we might be rolling over a bit into dollar strength. So we may even be starting a bit behind the 8 ball here, but I will stick to that prediction, and I will say that if you look at the DXY on December 31st, it will be lower than it was on January 1st of this year. So now, given what I just said, where do you think my gold prediction is going to be, higher or lower? It is certainly going to be higher. Again, not a ton of conviction here, really. But again, if you remember what I said last week, too, there's a lot of bear cases for the economy. And again, that's probably 48% of my conviction overall. And so if any of those scenarios happen, gold should certainly keep catching a bid and create new highs. But the funny thing about gold is it can do this regardless. And if you've looked recently, gold has also done very well when the stock market has done very well. And if you remember what I said last week, so many different institutions and big banks out there are now hedging. And they don't like to hedge with Bitcoin. They like to hedge with gold. Now, some people in the comments and on Discord and on Twitter are talking about the Fed turning on the money printers again. And of course, that's going to make things like gold and Bitcoin go up a lot. I just don't see a scenario where they do this in 2024. Think about why they would do this. They'll typically turn the money printers on when the economy is tanking like it did in 2020 during the COVID scare. But it's generally a reaction to a very down market, which, like I said last week, I don't think we're getting this year. I could see how we could, but then, you have to let this whole thing play out, and people have to know that we're in an actual recession, and only then would they even start thinking about turning the money printers back on, and I just don't see that happening within a 12-month time frame. So for gold, I am going to say higher, but it has nothing to do with money printing. But then again, too, remember, this is not why we buy gold. This is why we buy gold now, because we do think it's going to go higher, and gold is the ultimate defense, and the sooner you buy it, the cheaper you get it. Simple as that, really. We're not buying gold for the alpha. With mining stocks and crypto and things like that out there, it doesn't really make any sense to do that. But to me, gold is the most awesome protection for your money in existence, and I will hopefully be looking to add more this year. On to silver. I'm even less positive about silver this year, even though I do think the price will be higher. Probably not by much, but India has really started to play a huge part in this whole game, and they don't buy when prices are up. They're smart. They wait and buy when things are cheap, like you're supposed to. And the whole silver squeeze that's been going on for a very long time is actually starting to retrace a bit. You're seeing a lot more ounces added to the vaults than you were before. Again, this could just be a retracement. Price, like everything, moves in waves. But for over a year, maybe 2 years even, we were seeing nothing but the COMEX and the LBMA getting drained all the way down. And it's finally starting to go the other way. Now, silver is used in a lot of tech, and what is that tech going to do this year? It's really hard to say. But given how it typically rises with gold, I think that will be enough to have us see higher prices at the end of 2024 than we did at the very beginning. By the way, just like before, if you're on YouTube or you'd like to go to YouTube, please go down to the comments section and give your predictions as well, and please say why. Don't be lazy. I want to add a quick precious metals add-on prediction here. I'm also going to say platinum is going to be up too, and I actually cannot say why because this is a combination of a couple different paid sources that I subscribe to. And I don't do them dirty. I don't sit there and repeat what they say to the masses. But there are some very compelling arguments for bullish platinum in the year 2024. We like platinum here on the show, and we also like it for 2024. Now, as far as mining stocks go, so again, like I did before, let's just take the GDX, because there are silver companies in there too, or at least companies that do have a lot of silver in their holdings. I actually think these are going to go higher too. It only makes sense. And I'm not sure when we're finally going to see this real rotation into mining stocks and commodities. I'm very, very sure this is going to happen sometime this decade, probably earlier than later. I think you would be crazy not to think that. But as far as this year goes, I just don't know. So I will just play the beta of the gold and silver market itself and just say that mining stocks should probably go up with it. And that's precious metal mining stocks. We will talk about other mining stocks next week. Stay tuned for that. But I gave you a long one last week, Contrarian, so nice and short and to the point this week. Again, I would like to hear your predictions for the United States dollar and gold and silver and possibly platinum and mining stocks if you have a strong conviction there. Because I would imagine the majority of you are already invested in some, if not all of these things. Why? Because we're not crazy. We're just early.